Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Juret.
Mr. Speaker, first I want to take this opportunity to thank you as the chairman of the Parliamentary Service Commission and as the Speaker of the National Assembly for taking swift action so that we could know what happened to our colleague, Honorable Koimbori. And you appointed Honorable Tongoyo, the chairman of the Security Committee, and Honorable Epuyo, to go and see and visit our colleague who purportedly was abducted, Mr. Speaker. And to my shock, the report that has been tabled today in Parliament, Mr. Speaker, is what I can only term as the biggest political scandal in our country, Mr. Speaker. It's the biggest political scandal, Mr. Speaker, in our country. Why do I say so, Mr. Speaker? First, Mr. Speaker, when I saw the first photo that was being, beamed on one of the media houses that is nowadays prone to fake news, from the way my colleague was sleeping, I could knew this is a fake thing. From the appearance, from the way I saw the shirt and the way the stomach was looking up, I just knew this one, there's nothing. But I was waiting for a proper investigative report to be tabled before the House. So I had to reserve my comments. Mr. Speaker, it's very, very unfortunate that politicians can go to this extent to prove a point, Mr. Speaker. And it is shocking that even the chairman of the Security Committee and our colleagues were never allowed to see our colleague who is in hospital. The only people who can see him is the Munyoro group, who can do a press conference outside the hospital. Any other person is not allowed to see him. No, you see, all that group is Munyoro group. Mr. Speaker, even people who are in ICU, people who are in critical care, Mr. Speaker, people are allowed to see them, Mr. Speaker. This is the first case I've ever seen somebody who is not even, we don't know whether he's critically ill or not, nobody can see him. Only Wamunyoro group, Mr. Speaker. And they're the only ones who can speak to the public that we have visited our friend, he was inhaling some gas or something like that. Mr. Speaker, the director of this drama, now I've come to conclusion that the director of this drama is none other than one Mr. Obunyoro. This is the same thing he did when he was running away from interrogation at the Senate. You remember? During the impeachment. He went and admitted himself in the same hospital, Mr. Speaker. So it's the same script. It is the same. But this country is full of drama.
You've made your point.
Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. Let me conclude, Mr. Speaker. The same disease, the same hospital, the same bed, the same visitors, the same doctor, nobody else can see you. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the police service of this country, the Inspector General of Police, and the DCI Director for the swift investigation that they have done this matter. Because, Mr. Speaker, if this thing was not investigated thoroughly, these self-abductions will have gone up. Today it will have been Koimbori. Tomorrow I can tell you, there's a candidate who's watching me here, Mr. Speaker. He will have hidden himself in these mokoka trees. somewhere, I know, I don't want to mention names. He will have hidden himself behind a mokoka tree. And he will have told you, I have been abducted. So, Mr. Speaker, I am very, very happy today that this thing has come to light. But I want to urge the former impeached former deputy governor, the deputy president, please don't go this direction. This kind of politics of deceit and conmanship and this kind of tactics of self-abduction and somebody shooting his car, claiming that I am under attack, those are all way of doing politics. If you want to know how to do opposition politics, you know where you can find good advice. Go and see Baba. Sit down with him. Tell him, Baba, how did you sustain this opposition politics for the last 40 years? What tactics did you use? I've never seen you self-abducting yourself. I've never seen you shooting your car anywhere. What tactics could you have used? Come there. We will teach you how to go about it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to also begin by first, in one of these very rare occasions, to congratulate the Inspector General of Police, the Director of DCI, and all the officers within our police service for the good work that they have exhibited, not just in this case, but also in cracking the unfortunate murder of the late Were. And I think, Honorable Speaker, we have not taken time to congratulate them also because of the swiftness with which they were able to apprehend the culprits or the criminals who murdered the late Were. And I want to believe that they are still working to ensure that they get even the sponsors of the people who pulled the trigger on the late Were. But, Honorable Speaker, this matter is not as light as we may be taking it, because a matter that flies right into the face of this Constitution, Honorable Speaker. Chapter 6 of the integrity of the Leadership and Integrity Act. Honorable Speaker, if you allow me, Article 73 says that responsibilities of leadership, authority assigned to a state officer, is a public trust to be exercised in a manner that, 3, brings honor to the nation and dignity to the office and promotes public confidence in the integrity of the office. We are not discussing one of us because we need a motion to be before the House to discuss any one of us. But it is the dignity of the office of a member of parliament that is in question today, Honorable Speaker. If a member of parliament who has been elected by his people to come and represent them in this House can dare engage in the kind of criminality that we have seen the Honorable Koimbori engage in, Honorable Speaker, this should be one of the saddest days for this House, Honorable Speaker. This is the same member, Honorable Speaker, who last year claimed that members of parliament were being paid 2 million shillings to vote on the finance bill. You will remember, all of you, that the Honorable Koimbori appeared before this House, apologized, and in our magnanimity, we accepted his apology and let that go. Honorable Speaker, as a House, we must not let this pass. We must not let it pass. When we forgave Honorable Koimbori and let it go, the impeachment of this drama director, I don't know whether he's a script writer or the drama director. Malala might be the script writer. The director is a former deputy president, and the actor now is Koimbori. Just like during the impeachment process, as the Honorable Junet says, the former deputy president appeared here looking very dark. But because he knew there was no cross-examination in the National Assembly during the impeachment process, he had the audacity and the guts to come and try defend himself here. But he did not have the courage to face the House where he would be cross-examined. He faked sickness, ended up being admitted in Karen Hospital, apparently in the same room, same bed. I am not certain, and I want to speak to my good friend, Dr. Gachagua, a man of very high integrity and a good doctor in this country, and plead with him not to allow his hospital to be misused by these people who are otherwise common street criminals, Honorable Speaker, I dare say. The Honorable Koimbori was saying, Honorable Speaker, again went to the media and said that members of parliament were being paid, I think, 500,000 or something like that, 5 million shillings, to impeach a deputy president who deserved nothing more than what he got. In fact, we should have impeached Gachagua probably a year before. And Kenyans now will vindicate this House that Kenyans were being saved from greater trouble from this man, Honorable Speaker, and the drama that we are seeing. It's unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that this circus has pulled into it other dignified leaders like your good friend, the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, who I saw yesterday at Karen Hospital, together with our former Speaker, J.B. Muturi, saying that there are people who claim there was a self-abduction. Now it is clear that Honorable Koimbori self-abducted himself, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I appeared on a show on Al Jazeera TV last month but one, on the 4th of February or the 5th of February. And I was put to task on the question of abductions in this country. Because you remember the president committing that he will end abductions. And many people never understood. And people would ask, who is abducting people? And I remember Honorable Speaker saying, there was information that had been shared that there were even members of parliament who planned to kidnap or abduct themselves and blame the state. Honorable Speaker, time is a healer, and time is also a vindicator. I think many things are being vindicated over time. That when the police said we were not abducting people, there were other forces. Now Kenyans need to start filling in the gaps. When last year, Honorable Speaker, and I said yesterday, when we were debating the adjournment motion by the Honorable Junet, when on the 25th of June, Kenyans rallied around the country on account of misinformation and disinformation around issues touching on the finance bill, Honorable Speaker, we said it to the nation that many of the things that were offensive to Kenyans had been removed from that bill. But nobody listened, Honorable Speaker, because of the negativity, the propaganda that was being pushed by this group, Honorable Speaker. I don't want to say, Wamunyoro is a very good village. And you know, Honorable Speaker, I have confessed that I have married a beautiful lady from Nyeri. And is one of the villages in Madera constituency represented by the Honorable Amombi. Therefore, let us not accuse that good village. This is a character of a person and a group around him that believes you can only advance opposition politics either using violence, deceit, bloodshed, and that is why you saw the things that were in the adjournment motion by Honorable Junet yesterday. The unfortunate reference to the 2007 post-election violence, Honorable Speaker. Because these are people who have no agenda for this country. And all they desire is chaos and anarchy for our country. Honorable Speaker, I want to plead with you, because you are the chair of our Powers and Privileges Committee. Irrespective of what the National Police Service and the Director of Prosecution or the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission do with the Honorable Koimbori, the Powers and Privileges Committee of this House must be seized of this matter of Honorable Koimbori. And I also want to speak to the people of Juja. They are a great people who have been denied proper representation in this House. And I don't want to discuss the member, Honorable Speaker, but the people of Juja are suffering, and I've been there, I know. Right now, I'm addressing issues, Honorable Speaker, in my office, touching on electricity connectivity in Juja, and the MP has the audacity to send them a message on their WhatsApp group telling them you can go ask for your electricity from Ruto. I left that government. Whether you are in a government or not, you are elected as a member of parliament to represent your people. When they question you, when they ask you for services, answer them in a dignified manner. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to say the police have done their work. The Director of Prosecution, the DPP, must do his work. EACC, because of Chapter 6 of our Constitution, must do their work on the matter of ethics of public officers that the Honorable Koimbori has contravened. Our Powers and Privileges Committee, Honorable Speaker, which you chair, must now be seized of this matter and take the necessary action. The people of Juja must know You can also recall a member of parliament who is not working for you, who is not serving your interests, who is not representing you, a member of parliament who believes his only work is to follow another man in funerals and other social gatherings, singing songs of praise to a man, Honorable Speaker. With that, Honorable Speaker, I want to pray, Honorable Speaker, especially to you, as our chair of the Powers and Privileges Committee, please do something. Not because of Honorable Koimbori, but to save the dignity and the honor of the office of a member of parliament, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Thank you. I don't want to open debate on this. Senior Counsel, I'll give you a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me first thank you for the wisdom of directing the inquiry through members of the relevant committee, and say that it is important. The concern to find out what happened is not born out of anything in the standing orders. But it was a concern for a colleague, because we must all be concerned when a colleague is in distress. And therefore, I find 4 very unique things about this matter. One, which is very positive on the part of the police, is the swiftness of the inquiry. I hope we can have such swiftness in all matters. 2 is the openness in terms of the update of what happened. I think that is also a very good thing, and they are to be commended. There are also 2 very unique things which are to be discouraged. The one is that while we call on the police to do investigation, then they are blocked from accessing our colleague, who is the only primary person who can give the most useful information. That is disabling the police. And then we might blame them. The second one, which I find unique, is something is developing where when one is admitted, then people come and give updates on their medical condition, people who are not medical practitioners, within the vicinity of the hospital. That usually does not happen in most hospitals. I think that's unique to this very able establishment. And it is not a good thing, because then you don't know if one is speaking authoritatively or not. But that said, Mr. Speaker, abduction is a very serious thing. Unlike my colleagues, I want to welcome the preliminary report by the police, but as they've stated, it's a preliminary report. It's not a conclusive report. I expect that there will be a conclusive report. Once it is concluded, Mr. Speaker, if indeed there were people who are involved in kidnapping our colleagues, they must be prosecuted. But if indeed there were people who are, who coined this up and it was not true, they too must be prosecuted. Because abductions in this country and killings have become so many, and we don't want to speculate as to whether one has done it themselves or not, by the police or by the crooks. But that said, Mr. Speaker, once it is concluded, unlike my colleagues, I believe the right thing to do is that the police must prosecute those who are involved. But I do not agree that it's within the ambit of this House. I do not believe that you can then bring matters that have happened outside the precincts of Parliament and then bring them within the Privileges Committee. I think that ultimately is between the employer and our employers are the voters and the police who ought to prosecute. That said, Mr. Speaker, I commend the wisdom, your wisdom in handling this matter, and I hope it comes to fruition and we get to the bottom. Let people be prosecuted so that it serves as an example either way. Thank you.
Yes, Mukunji, then Emily, then I close.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I also want to say thank you for your guidance in this House. Honorable Speaker, I first want to say that security matters in this country must be taken with the seriousness they deserve. As we are speaking right now, Honorable Speaker, I have demonstrations in Embu town because of matters of insecurity, shops being broken into, and those are matters that, Honorable Speaker, they touch in this House, and I believe that as the senior counsel has mentioned, we need conclusive reports on matters to do with our colleague. And not only that, Honorable Speaker, I believe there are so many pending matters that are touching with the confidence that people have with our police forces. Honorable Speaker, we are yet to get reports on what happened to many of the Gen Zs during the Mandamanos. We are yet to get a report, Honorable Speaker, on various issues of abductions that have been reported of even some young people in this country. And Honorable Speaker, I sit here and I believe this house should be seen as a house that allows investigations to go conclusively. And I believe your guidance is very clear, Honorable Speaker, that we have to get to the bottom of this. If Honorable Koimbori, and I believe I have not been able to visit him, but I have seen the press conferences that have happened there. I've seen the hand being pointed to even the police force. Honorable Speaker, I believe also it's important for IPOA, because this is a matter of extrajudicial matter, to actually come in. Because when it is said that Koimbori had an issue and police say they were looking for him, it also points some finger in the matter to do with whether it is the police that was conducting this. And now the IG has spoken. It is important also to get an independent body to give a report on this so that this house can be well guided when it comes to those matters. But today is the National Prayers Day. Honorable Speaker, I believe it is not fair and it is not right for my good friends, minority leader and majority leader, to incriminate the name of the former deputy president just like that. It is right for them to bring evidence and say that he was involved in this, and let's be fair and actually call it like it is. We are taking too much time to debate and talk about the former deputy president when we have very serious matters to discuss in this house. We have matters to do with our debt issues. We have matters to do with finance bill. We have Mira issue that is being now being brought by the deputy majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Speaker, I wanted to seek your guidance, because Mr. Speaker, I know Honorable Mukunji is a first-time member of Parliament. I know he's learning the ropes. Mr. Speaker, what we discussed yesterday, what we discussed yesterday is he's a first-time member of Parliament, unless he was in another parliament than this one, unless he was in South Sudan Parliament. The fact of the matter is, he's a first-time member of Parliament and a third-time member of Parliament. That's a fact on record. Yeah, and he has only served 2 years, like Gachagua. Mr. Speaker, but my point of order is this. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yesterday what we discussed was a special motion under Standing Order 33. Mr. Speaker, the standing orders that we use here gives every member an opportunity to bring a motion to discuss any matter of national importance. And with the approval of the Speaker, and if you get the requisite number of 20 members to support your request, then you get an opportunity to move your motion. So we should not use up here the derogatory statement that we are wasting our time yesterday here discussing a matter of national importance like post-election violence. Someone who's calling people to take up arms, to kill themselves, displace people, cause destruction. You are calling something useless, unless you support that kind of thing, that you want people to die.
Okay.
Shame on you.
Mukunji, wind up.
Honorable Speaker, I believe that it is very easy for the minority leader to bring the matters of me being a first member of Parliament. But they need to understand that I learn very quickly. And in my 2 years, I've studied this house. I know how it works, and I believe I represent the people of Manyata and Embu the best way I can. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I want to say that your guidance on the investigation of this matter touches on all our security. we have had complaints from various members on how their security is being handled. Honorable Speaker, we have lost a member of parliament. We know how and what it takes, how costly it is, Honorable Speaker, to even go back to a by-election. Let us all be very keen on our security. And Honorable Speaker, I seek your guidance to ensure IPOA also gives a report on this matter.
Merely
thank you.
The last one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to, before I start, I just want to tell Honorable Mukunji that...
Order, Mukunji, you finish your contribution. Listen
yes,
to others.
and you need to listen because I'm actually, before I say man, I just wanted to tell him that even though he's saying he's learned, one of the things that he has not yet learned effectively is how to be in opposition. When I have given my contribution, see me on the side. You are doing very poorly in that regard, and I'm very willing to give you free tutorials or being in the opposition. Mr. Speaker, as a human rights defender, I have been against the issue of abductions, and I've raised it before the floor of this House and elsewhere. And I'm very happy that I have seen actually almost disappearance of the issue of human abduction. Mr. Speaker, whether I'm in government or outside, broad-based, non-broad-based, human rights remain human rights. And I have raised it consistently. And Mr. Speaker, when our colleague was allegedly abducted, I condemned his abduction. Mr. Speaker, this comes shortly after our colleague was actually murdered. Just the day we were going on recess, our colleague was here. I turned my back, he was here. And then minutes later, I'm seeing a notice he's dead, gunned down. So the issue of security of members of parliament is a very serious issue. Mr. Speaker, I have myself been a victim of attack. I was attacked in my first time by men wielding guns, 7 men. And when I raised the issue, the Inspector General of the police then said that I concocted the story. But at that time, no investigation was done. The difference is this time, investigations have been done. I would be the last person to actually politicize about attack because I've been a direct victim. But Mr. Speaker, it is on that note that it would be very, very unfortunate that an honorable member would make me waste time sympathizing and standing with him if at all he has actually faked his own abduction. It would be very unfortunate after our own member of parliament has been shot dead that you bring theatrics that touch on our security. Today it may be drama, tomorrow it may be a reality. Yes. When you cry wolf, one day it will be a reality and there will be nobody to deal with you. So Mr. Speaker, what I would want to say, so that members are more secure. The police have given us preliminary report. Can the police conclude? And should it be found that this is actually false allegations, Mr. Speaker, he should be prosecuted as an example to others. This is not a joke. And not only that, Mr. Speaker, the issue of abduction has been a very serious issue in this country. And it is one of the reasons that we find our young people very annoyed because they keep saying we are being abducted. I would be shocked to discover that all along it is not the police that are abducting. I would be really, it is mind-boggling, Mr. Speaker. Even if we are politicking, our politics must reach a level that is human and that respects the human rights of yourself and of others, Mr. Speaker. Don't make us waste too much English when we know there are other countries where we can import the English, Mr. Speaker. I will not name them. But there are countries where we can import that English, Mr. Speaker. We can export the English elsewhere. No, I will not say where. Because I have many friends in neighboring countries, so I won't mention. And also we are trying to encourage friendly relations with our neighbors even when they are angry. But that aside, we are deepening relation with our neighbors even when they are angry. But Mr. Speaker, I would want to encourage that this matter be taken up seriously, not just as a matter of with the Committee of Privileges, but the Inspector General, if this is actually a lie, this member must be prosecuted. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Tongoyo. When do you bring the conclusive and final report?
Honorable Speaker,
I know the predicament you suffered.
Yeah, there are actually too
that
many.
you couldn't be able to see your colleague.
Yeah.
I personally can inform the House that I called the DCI and informed me that he was also denied the opportunity with his officers to see the member. So tell the IG to finalize and give us the conclusive investigations in the matter, then I'll give directions.
Well guided, Honorable Speaker, but it's good under the circumstances. I had talked to him actually just an hour ago, and there are still a lot of leads leading to more arrest and interrogation. So maybe we give us like another week or so.
Thank you. Next order. Before the next order, hold on, clerk. I acknowledge the presence in the speaker's gallery. I think they have gone. Olkalau Secondary School from Olkalau, Nyandarua. Even if they have left, we welcome them belatedly to the House of Parliament. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, discharge of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023. Question to be put.
Order, honorable members. Order, member for Kajiado's, take your seat. The two members from Kajiado are on their feet at different points. Honorable members, I'm putting the question at order number 8, and I hope you do understand what it is. There is a bill from the Senate by the Senator for Kakamega on the regulation and bring order to the border sector. He seems to have walked into a hostile group of borders who frightened him to write a letter and say, although the bill has passed through the Senate, he wants to withdraw it in this House. So we now put the question, if you want the bill to go on, you vote no. If you want the bill to die here, you vote yes. I'll now put the question. I'm saying this because this is an unprecedented process that has come to this House. And I now put the question at order number 8, which is that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 127.5, and taking into consideration the request from the Senate for withdrawal of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023, this House resolved to discharge the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023 from second reading. As members of that opinion say aye. As members of the contrary opinion say nay. Nay. The nays have it. So the bill will now proceed to second reading at an appropriate time. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, third report on consideration of the audited accounts of specified state corporations. Resumption of debate.
Honorable Wangwe, when we adjourned yesterday, you had 38 minutes to go. 37 minutes to go.
Yes.
So you can carry on from there.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I had moved yesterday on the report of the third report on consideration of the audited accounts of Public Investments Committee, that this House adopts the third report of the Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture on its consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the following state corporations, laid on the table of the House on 30th July 2024. Honorable Speaker, the various state corporations, as I moved yesterday, were Kenyatta National Hospital, Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, Kenya Veterinary Board, National Authority for Campaigns Against Drug Abuse, and lastly, Honorable Speaker, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. I had moved, Honorable Speaker, general issues cutting across, and I had also moved, Honorable Speaker, various specific issues, and I was now handling the issues on Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA. Honorable Speaker, on the issues that were highlighted in the report, the issue that I was to start with today is the issue to do with payables and trade and other payables, Honorable Speaker, where, Honorable Speaker, I want to be specific. And look, we observed one supplier, Honorable Speaker, Mrs. Med Africa Limited, who was awarded a contract to install, supply, and commission a diesel-fired incinerator in Busia, Kitale, and Wajir County Referral Hospitals, Honorable Speaker. The main issue, Honorable Speaker, on this issue, that we observed, is that to date, the equipment that you were supposed to supply in both the Busia and Wajir counties are yet to be supplied to date, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and on that issue, Madam Speaker, we did make a recommendation on what recourse is supposed to be done in the event on such a case, Honorable Speaker, and we looked at one of the issues as being that upon our adoption of this report, Honorable Speaker, the accounting officer for Kenya Medical Supplies Authority and the PS in charge of medical services, Honorable Speaker, and the county government of Wajir should ensure that the incinerator is installed. Since, Honorable Speaker, the incinerator was paid for, but it was never installed, and to date, it is not yet installed. Honorable Speaker, we also say that within 3 months upon adoption of this report, the Auditor General should audit the payables in question and give a comprehensive report on their status of the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, there were about 4 or 5 issues, as you will see in the report, that were discussed. All of them supplied by various parties, which have been highlighted in the report, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, specific issues on the case of Kenya Veterinary Board is that, Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Veterinary Board, Honorable Speaker, had challenges in terms of budgetary allocation, and for the specific years, the budgeting of Kenya Veterinary Board was in a way over budget, under budget, but over expend. Such that, Honorable Speaker, you find that in this one particular year, they budgeted for 142 and they budgeted for 134 and spent 142 million. So the question comes, Honorable Speaker, where do they get the balance? The finding of the committee is, Honorable Speaker, whereas they under-declare their A in A, so that what they get, they spend before budgeting is done. Meaning, Honorable Speaker, this organization has some income somewhere which is not surrendered to the National Treasury. Once you declare the budget, they now draw that money on their own. The question is, what is the function of this house? We are supposed to budget. What is the function of National Treasury? Is to collect money and get in the consolidated fund. How come this organization is spending money which has not been budgeted for? Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we found it that that's an irregularity, and therefore we recommended that the accounting officer should ensure that at all times the budgets are realistic, achievable, and always adhere to the annual work plans, procurement plans, and revenue collection schedules. Honorable Speaker, if that is done, and in contrary to that, the relevant laws should apply and the officer must be punished. Honorable Speaker, there is also in the Kenya Veterinary Board lack of an effective internal controls. And Honorable Speaker, what happens in every organization is the use, and by law, every organization must have an internal audit unit. And also, Madam Speaker, an organization must have a documented risk management policy. This organization, Honorable Speaker, at the time of audit, did not have a fully fledged working internal audit unit, and neither did it have, Honorable Speaker, a working documented risk management policy. And therefore, in that regard, Honorable Speaker, my committee recommends that the accounting officer, Honorable Speaker, having been found in breach of Regulation 165(1) A(b) of the Public Finance Management National Government Regulations of 2015, the accounting officer should therefore ensure that all times the internal audit unit and an approved internal audit charter detailing the scope, responsibility, and purpose of the internal audit unit are in place in order to promote transparency and accountability. And Honorable Speaker, within 3 months upon adoption of the report, the Board of Kenya Veterinary Board should submit to the National Assembly and OAG the committee membership, the audit committee minutes, and the internal audit reports considered by the audit committee, meaning, Honorable Speaker, we recommended that they must establish an internal audit unit. Honorable Speaker, there was also the issue that we found out on the failure to fully constitute board of directors. Honorable Speaker, this issue is not only, when you look at the cross-cutting issues was there, but now in specific, Kenya Veterinary Board is one of the organizations that fell short of having the necessary board members. And Honorable Speaker, whereas the Kenya Veterinary Board did not have the board members, it went ahead and paid the existing few board members board allowances. Honorable Speaker, that's an illegality, because at the time of expending, they did not have a fully fledged board. How were they meeting this? Who was approving this expenditure? Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we found out that being the case, we reprimand the appointing authority for the delay in the constituting of constituting or failure to adhere to the provisions of Section 4(1), paragraph F and G of the Veterinary Surgeons and Veterinary Paraprofessionals Act of 2011, which provides that the board shall consist of the following members: 4 surgeons registered and veterinary paraprofessionals appointed by the Cabinet Secretary after being elected by registered veterinary professionals. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, that reprimand goes to the appointing authority, who in this case is the CS, who also oversaw his state agency run without the necessary board members. Honorable Speaker, National Authority for the Campaigns Against Drug, Alcohol and Drug Abuse had various issues, Honorable Speaker. But the only good thing with this organization, Honorable Speaker, although it had issues, but it had an unqualified opinion whose recommendations cut across the 3 years that we reviewed. It's a fairly clean organization, but only lacked a few issues to do with governance and issues to do with governance and issues to do with a review of the existing board members. But, Honorable Speaker, upon transition, which was slightly within 2 months, the organization, within the 3 years of review, had a clean and qualified report. Honorable Speaker, on the final institution I want to talk about is the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. KBC, Honorable Speaker, is our mother broadcasting house. It's an organization where, Honorable Speaker, almost all media personalities have gone through. Nearly 90% of the media personalities have appeared through Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, nurturing and molding very good personalities. But unfortunately, Honorable Speaker, when they exist in KBC, they do not appear to be the best. Once they leave, they now turn around and become the best. A situation in which, Honorable Speaker, we found out the issues that are happening in KBC, Honorable Speaker. One issue that we found out that cuts across the 10 years of review is the issue, Honorable Speaker, to do with the liabilities in KBC, where, Honorable Speaker, KBC borrowed some money heavily way back in 2011, Honorable Speaker, and in 1989, not 2011, 1989, Honorable Speaker, which was a loan from the Overseas Economic Cooperation Fund in Japan. And, Honorable Speaker, this fund, this money was a huge amount, 7,543,422,121. Honorable Speaker, this money, it's always moved. And when you see it has already been cleared by the National Treasury, Honorable Speaker, but unfortunately, National Treasury has not adjusted the books of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Instead, it has left the load on KBC. Honorable Speaker, what does it mean? What it means is, Honorable Speaker, that whenever KBC is preparing their books, this loan reflects in their books, and definitely when you look at the management accounts of KBC, within the year, it looks positive, but when you look at the overall annual account, Honorable Speaker, it's heavily loaded by this amount. The implication, Honorable Speaker, is that you can never know the trading status of KBC, and it's not a good thing. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, what do we recommend? Upon adoption of this report, KBC should submit to the National Treasury and the Auditor General comprehensive report with the details of the loan. And Honorable Speaker, National Treasury should also be able to comment on the status of the loan and advise on when they intend to write off the loan if need be. Honorable Speaker, on the issue of KBC, it has issues to do with title deeds. Honorable Speaker, the issue of KBC, the corporation had title deeds for 8 parcels of land. And Honorable Speaker, these 8 parcels of land, at the same time, it had 32 parcels which does not have title deeds or other legal documents of ownership. The title deeds, Honorable Speaker, for land roll number 209/5918, this is the broadcasting house, Honorable Speaker, it still exists in the name of the old person. Yourself being a lawyer, Honorable Speaker, you'll agree with me that the title called Chief Secretary, Colony and Protectorate of Kenya is a colonial reference to our titles, which was there before independence, and it's important, Honorable Speaker, that KBC gets its title. As it is now, Honorable Speaker, it doesn't have in the modern way. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, valuing that property is not possible, and when you ask the management was not able to value, because, Honorable Speaker, they say this title is obsolete. So whoever is to handle it, I don't know. But now, to them, they contracted a law firm who is yet to also give them a new title. That makes the whole issue messy and unacceptable to the committee, and that's why, Honorable Speaker, we recommended that the accounting officer KBC should submit to the National Treasury and the Auditor General the updated fixed asset register detailing all the assets of the company with the respective details and that need to be disclosed in the asset register. Honorable Speaker, why do we need this? Because when this title has not been valued, it means it's not posted into the accounts because they have no value. And unless they keep the register of fixed assets, it means no one can know how to trace that property and where it is. Honorable Speaker, there is also the issue that interagency trading, where, Honorable Speaker, the ministry could direct KBC to give part of its assets to a sister agency. For this case, Honorable Speaker, in particular, the power generators that were given to KenGen company, Honorable Speaker. The corporation, at the direction of the government, loaned its 5 power generators valued at 29 million to KenGen to alleviate the power crisis during the 2001 crisis. However, the generators have not been returned to the corporation. Honorable Speaker, the moment they gave out the assets on direction of the government, somebody retains the assets of KBC forever, and nobody follows up. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we felt that it was important that within 3 months upon adoption, ESCC to initiate an investigation into how the loaned generators to KenGen were procured, whether there were any malpractice in the initial procurement, and that generators were idle at the time of loaning, and submit its findings to DPP. Honorable Speaker, because they say the generators were given, but there is no follow-up evidence to confirm that those generators were given, neither were they instruction. But the management said they were instructed to give. So whether the generators passed on to KenGen or not, we do not know. Honorable Speaker, there is the issue in KBC affecting the going concern aspect. The Honorable Speaker, the issue of KBC as a going concern is associated with various organizations, Honorable Speaker, through which it entered into negotiations, and particularly the organizations that deal with broadcasting. And Honorable Speaker, apart from the OEC loan, that is the Overseas Economic Cooperation Fund, loan of 1989, KBC has other organizations which it has entered into negotiation with, including the MultiChoice Africa and various other organizations. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, this entry into these negotiations has affected the operation to an extent positively, and to other extent it has negatively affected. What has the committee recommended, therefore, Honorable Speaker, that upon adoption of this report, the KBC should submit to the National Treasury and to the Auditor General a comprehensive report with the details of all the organizations, all the documentary organizations that have entered into commercial transactions with KBC for the purpose of going concern effects. Honorable Speaker, finally, the issue of KBC is a good model, to adopt, but Honorable Speaker, it has left the organization in limbo without knowing whether to transact on its own or to transact through the second, the contracted agencies which they are working with. And therefore, it's a model which, Honorable Speaker, to one side, it is giving a positive return, and to the other side, Honorable Speaker, if not monitored well, it can lead into the extinction of the organization. Therefore, with that, Honorable Speaker, I wish to thank my colleagues whom we have sat tirelessly, whom we have held these sessions together. I want to thank the Secretariat, Honorable Speaker, for taking their time to make all this, combine this report. I want to thank the Clerk of the National Assembly, Honorable Speaker, for the effective support through the departmental committee, through the committee, through the director of committees who has supported the committee to arrive at this report. And I want to thank also the leadership of the House for giving the opportunity, Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture, through myself, to submit this report to the House. I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, and request my colleague, the member for Mandera, Woman Rep, Honorable Umurker Kasim, to second.
Hold on a moment before you second. Allow me to recognize the presence of a school which is sitting in the public gallery before they leave. So I wish to recognize the presence of Pioneer Girls School from Gatanga constituency in Murang'a County. And I think a member for Mandera, before you do your secondment, you can welcome them on behalf of the House. Okay, you may welcome them then.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me the liberty to welcome that school from Gatanga constituency on behalf of their Member of Parliament, who I hear has gone to Amonyoro and is not available. Therefore, on his behalf and on behalf of the House, welcome to the National Assembly, and to tell these students from Pioneer, that many of them, and I do pray that indeed all of them, when they grow up, they will find their way into this House or the other House in Senate and in other positions of leadership, and pray that they will serve with the integrity that behoves of them as leaders of tomorrow. And they are leaders today and tomorrow. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.